Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Let's Get Loud podcast. This is a solo podcast episode with A. Did you guys miss me last week? I hope that you guys noticed that I was missing. Do you want to know the tragic story? So, oh, first, it goes way back. My credit card got compromised. And so I needed to get a new credit card. Do you know the extent of which my life was on that credit card? And so I had gotten this thing that was like from Microsoft, maybe. It was obviously something that I had clicked a long time ago to get me like more storage on my computer. And it was like one of those things where I was like, oh my God, fine. I'll just like book it. And I'll just pay the money and figure out what it even is later. Well, then when I got an email from them and they were like, your credit card, like it's not working. And I was like, do I really need that extra storage? Turns out I do. So I recorded an entire podcast last week on Friday, right before we were going somewhere. I was going to Fredericton for my grandmother's 90th. Recorded it all, and then I put it on my computer, but it wouldn't put on my computer because I didn't have space. So it was a whole thing. I recorded it and it went away. So here we are. And I'm going to give you guys all the updates. We're going to make it double the fun because you guys missed out last week. So, yeah, my grandmother turned 90. It was really special. We went to Fredericton. Okay, we're going to start with a life update. Then we're going to talk about excuses. And then we're going to talk about fall things, which is so fun. I think, okay, I've realized this about myself. I, and it's not a good quality. Actually, I would say most of my superpowers are my faults when overused. And this is something I have to work really hard at is I'm always ready for the next thing. It's my like hyper desire to be productive at all times. It's like, oh, I checked that off the list. Next. So I am already getting excited for fall things because I'm like, oh, summer lists are getting like we're near the end here. I'm getting ready to like think about fall. Maybe you guys aren't, but we're going to talk about it at the end of this podcast. Okay. So my grandmother's 90th, it was amazing. When I look at people who are living in their 90s, but not just living in their 90s, living well. And that is like what I want to do. That is what I want for myself. That is why I do what I do. That's why I'm so focused on my wellness, moving my body, weight training, nourishing my body, taking my supplements, all the things, because I really, truly want to live a long time, but I want to live well for a long time. So we got back from Fredericton so we drove to Fredericton for the night. It was amazing. Spent time with my parents, and then turned right back around. Came home on Sunday to get ready for our camping trip on Monday. So we went Monday to Thursday. We went to PEI. So we went to Twin Shores. Have you guys ever been there? It's amazing. It's barely a campground. They have a coffee shop. They have activities. They have a park, and they have the most stunning beach. And we had the best weather. So we spent 2 full beach days just living our best life, hanging out on the beach. The last night we did a fire on the beach. There's not a fire ban on PI. Before you guys like, wow, I can't believe you had a fire. There's not a fire ban on PI. So very grateful we were able to have a fire. And it was just the best trip. But now I'm home. It's Friday. I'm exhausted. But then I feel like, okay, I understand why. First of all, I do not sleep great camping. I just I don't know what it is. It's not that I'm not comfortable. Neil and I've got a pretty good system going where I'm pretty comfortable. The kids are right with me, especially Twin Shores. I'm not worried about animals because it's such like there's just so many people around. We're not even really in the woods. Um, so I'm not worried about animals. I just don't sleep the same. I couldn't fall asleep, which is not a problem for me here. Anywho, so 3 nights of camping and I just feel exhausted. Now, I must say, I obviously was not nourishing my body the same way I normally do at home. And I'm really finding as I age that my diet, and maybe I don't know if it's that now that I notice it that I'm older, or that it's different that when I'm older, or a little bit of both. But when I'm not nourishing my body, I feel it. And how I feel it is lack of energy. And so yesterday I went for a walk, today I went for a walk. It was a struggle. Like I am exhausted, and exhaustion is something that feels unacceptable to me. I feel very blessed that I almost like never felt tired before. Even when I was kind of like sleep deprived or had a bad sleep, I never felt like tired for long periods of time. And I felt that after our last two trips. I'm like, I just don't like that. And that's part of the reason why I reduced my alcohol consumption so much. It's just I would have a shitty sleep. That's what happened too. It's all coming back to me. We went to the keg on Friday night. That's where I was going right after my podcast. Went up to the keg on Friday night. Neil's parents, who've been here for 2 months, have just left. And so we were having our like farewell dinner. And as you do with a in-law dinner, I had a dirty martini to start and a glass of wine. And those two alcoholic drinks really impacted my sleep that night. So, okay, so it's all coming together. And then I went to Fredericton. So it's been a couple days of not sleeping great. So my bed last night was incredible, and I can't wait already for my bed tonight. Next trip, if you guys are wondering what's next, Alicia, on Thursday, we fly to Toronto. So Alfie's flag football team won the city championship. They won the provincial championship this year. So they competed against other top flag teams in the province of New Brunswick, and they came out on top. And they were invited to nationals to compete at nationals. And they are the first U14 flag football team to ever represent New Brunswick in nationals. So it's kind of a big deal. And we're leaving on Thursday. So we made the decision to fly for a few reasons. One, I just like it's a 15-hour drive, and I'm not afraid of a drive, but that's just a little long. And I would have to break that up. And I just didn't want to dedicate 7 days to this extravaganza. The girls are starting camp on Monday. So I was like, oh, we'll just fly. Also, Toronto is just so easy to fly to from here. There's not many places that is easy to fly to, but like it's such an easy flight. So I just was thought, let's do it. And the girls wanted to come too. I was kind of like, you sure you don't want to just stay home? Like the two less flights. And they were like, no, we want to go. So we're going the whole darn family. We leave Thursday, come back hopefully on Sunday, because since this time, Air Canada there's a potential strike. I am putting it out there into the universe that it's going to be okay, that everything is going to be okay, and that we're going to get home on Sunday. I did book a really late flight because I wanted to make sure that we had enough time to like finish up the finals or whatever we need to do at Flag, drive back to the airport, return our car in tons of time to get on the flight. So we're not going to get home until like midnight on Sunday, and then the girls start camp the next day, but they'll be fine, right? So that's what's up with me, and that is our last summer adventure, and I'm ready to not be fun anymore. Like back to work, everyone, back to school, back to a more regular schedule, back to sleeping in our own beds, just back to all the things. So we'll have 2 weeks when we come back, before they go back to school, a week of the girls in camp, and then one more week. So we'll knock off a few other little things on our summer bucket list, but nothing crazy. And I'm like ready for that. The girls are actually headed to middle school this year. So we just went back to school shopping just for school supplies. I told them in Toronto we can do some back to school shopping. I think I'm going to bring a suitcase to bring home. I don't know yet. We're going to there's an outlet mall near where we are. If you have been to this outlet mall, tell me everything. There's a Nike, there's an Aerie, there's an American Eagle, there's a Lulu. Yeah. So I think we might be able to fill a suitcase. Anyways, I'm kind of excited that shoes, we could just do all the things. I do get quite anxious before all of my trips. But I'm really trying to give myself a pep talk that what is going to happen is going to happen. You made the decision to fly. I also have this thing where I'm worried that that I made the wrong choice. And like, I'm like going to regret booking a flight, and then I'm going to regret booking the times of the flights. And I just need to like let it go. A lot happens up in my brain, guys. So that's my like life update. I've been staying very connected to my wellness goals, reducing my alcohol, reducing my processed foods. Definitely ready to up that though. Definitely ready to up that. So I actually just did a coaching session on excuses, and I thought it would be a good conversation for us to have on the podcast. So here's the thing. Now this is going to be like results, Alicia, and I'm going to call you guys on your shit. If you are using any other words than I didn't prioritize it, you are making an excuse. Okay. Now, here's what I'm not saying. I am not saying you should always choose the option that will get you closer to your goal. You do not always need to choose the path that is going to get you to, that is for your focus. So maybe your focus is weight loss. Maybe your focus is wellness. Maybe you're talking about the decision to go to the gym, to go for a walk, to not get seconds, to skip on the fast food, all of these decisions. I am not saying that you should always make the right decision. What I am saying is you need to start owning it. Okay. So I hear a lot of excuses. I was camping. Okay. Great. So was I. You just say, I made the choice to not prioritize nutrient dense food while camping because that's what you did. It's okay. You don't have to. Okay. That's what you did. I was away for the weekend. Amazing. You didn't have to choose what you chose, though. You prioritized. What you chose is what you prioritized. And if you chose to drink 2 bottles of wine both nights when you were away, it wasn't because you were away that you drank 2 bottles of wine. It was because you chose it. I was busy. Amazing. You prioritized other things. And maybe you're like, Alicia, I didn't have a choice. Like I was at work. Amazing. You prioritized work. And what is so important here right now is that you create a habit of creating ownership of your choices. Because behind ownership of choices is going to unlock freedom. It will unlock empowerment. It will send the message to your brain that you are in control and that you have choices and that your choices are building your path. And if you do not believe that, you become the victim of your circumstance and you become the victim of your environment and you are disempowering yourself. You are taking your power away when you speak to yourself in a way that implies that because you were tired, because you were sick, because you were busy, because you were away was the reason why you made those choices. So again, I'm going to say it. I am not saying that you should always make the right choice. I'm putting it in quotation marks because there's no such thing as a right choice. But what I mean is the choice that aligns with your current focus. But what I am saying is you should always own it. So I want to give you guys an example. 1 million years ago, when I started my weight loss journey, the girls were 1, they're turning 11 this year. So it has been 10 years since I've been on this journey, lost weight and kept it off. Like, so proud of that. So the girls were 1, Alfie was 3. I was working full time as a teacher outside of the home. At that point, Neil was working super long hours. Okay. I was still breastfeeding the twins. They weren't always sleeping through the night. The kids were going to daycare like the first time, so they have all those germs. And I remember, and I chose, you see that language? You hear that language? I chose to wake up at 4:45 in the morning to move my body during that stage of my life. The reason why I chose that is I knew for myself and my environment and my resources that I just would not do an evening workout or be as consistent with evening workouts. And so I have this distinct moment laying in bed and my alarm goes off, and it had been a disrupted sleep. And thinking to myself, oh, I had a shitty sleep. I should stay in bed. And I remember thinking to myself, if you start using a shitty sleep as an excuse, that is going to become a pattern. That is going to become a loop. That is going to become a habit. And you will not be consistent with your movement. So in that moment, I made the choice to not use a bad sleep as an excuse to not get up. It doesn't mean I got up every single morning, though. There were some mornings where I said to myself, I am prioritizing rest. No, what I didn't say to myself is, I can't go to the gym this morning because I didn't have a good sleep. Because I could have. I'm in charge. I have the power. And the reason why I want to bring this up with you guys is I see, in the kindest way I can say this, I see you making excuses for your choices. And that is what is holding you back from achieving your goals, not your environment, not your situation, not your resources, the excuses you are making around them. So if this kind of hits a little bit, I would love for you guys to, what is your default excuse? What is your excuse? So let's say we make an excuse and then there's an action. So let's say your excuse is often, I'm too tired to move my body. So what is your action as a result of your excuse? You stay on the couch. Okay. That is a loop. That is a habit that you have created for yourself. And excuses are just taking your power away. Excuses are just leaving space for you to be the victim of your environment. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to feel like I'm not in control, because I am in control. And so I would love for you guys to recognize, create awareness around your excuse. And step one is to really reframe your language. And I'm not asking you to act differently right away. I'm asking you to speak differently right away. So instead of saying, I ate like shit because I was camping, I want you to say, I chose to eat like shit. How does that sit? Because you did. You did. And that's up to you. Now remember, eating like shit, what does that mean? That means different to everyone, and only you get to define what eating like shit is, okay? I'm not saying that processed foods are bad. I would never say that, but you know what I mean. Eating like an asshole, maybe. I feel like everyone knows what that means, okay? Oh, it was girls' weekend, so I ate like an asshole. No, you ate like an asshole because you wanted to, because you prioritized it. It's okay, and it's okay, but own it. So recognize your excuse and reframe your language around it to start owning it. Then the next thing I want you to do is do an if then statement. So if I am on the couch and I am too tired to move my body, then I will go for 5 minutes. And what this is trying to do is pattern interrupt. And it's trying to change your behavior from just not getting up at all to just getting up a little bit. And is that 5 minutes going to make all the difference in the world? No. But is changing your behavior and breaking that excuse action loop cycle significant? Yes. Okay. So I just had that on my heart a little bit, and I wanted to share that with you guys, and not to toot my own horn here, but I feel like a big part of my success in life, in business, in weight loss, in my relationships, is my lack of excuses and my ownership of the resources I do have and the choices that I do make. Okay. All right. So I said we're going to talk about fall. I shouldn't even say that word fall. And you know what? It's not like I want fall to come. I want the routine to come. And I'm flirting with the idea. Now I need your help. I'm flirting with the idea of doing like a 3-week, I wrote some words down because I don't know how to reframe it. Okay. A 3-week kickstart your weight loss. So here's what's happening at Your Weight Loss. September 21st, we're going to start another course. Okay. And Jose is going to really focus on alignment, and I'm going to focus on habits. So we do 2 coaching sessions a week. Jose's is really mindset focused and mine is more action focused. So I'm going to talk about what is a habit, how to create a new habit, how to break an old habit, all big conversation about habits. We're going to build habits with the end goal of long-term sustainable weight loss. Okay. That's the end goal always. But we have a little bit of time in between our 8-week summer program, accountability program ending and the 21st. We have about 3 weeks. So I'm like, let's do something like September 1st. Are you guys ready for a 3-week kickstart your weight loss plan? How does that feel? I don't want anyone dieting though. I don't want anyone doing hard rules, but I do believe that we can be intentional about our choices. We can work towards creating a calorie deficit authentically without dieting, without being intense. So are we ready for it September 1st? Are you guys still in summer mode September 1st? Would you be interested in doing this with me? It's 20 days. Do we do a 20-day reset? I'm putting ideas out there. I always, 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 I would never tell you what to do for your reset though. I would want you guys to choose what a reset looks like for you. And then I started to think about what would it look like for me. And I thought, okay, what would be a really good reset for me? And it would be like going for a walk every day, doing my weight training, having my shake every day, taking my supplements, journaling, like those some of those things that maybe I haven't been as consistent with this summer, like just pausing and really focusing intentionally on that for 3 weeks. So I'm flirting with that. What does that need to look like? I don't know yet. And I did, as I was thinking through this, I was like, okay, if they're going to lose weight, they're going to kickstart their weight loss. They're going to lose weight in these 3 weeks. What do they need to do? They need to create a calorie deficit, consume less energy you're currently consuming. It'd be great if you guys already had a really strong understanding of what that looks like and what that feels like. So I did create a mini how to create a calorie deficit course a million years ago, 2 years ago maybe. I'm gonna link it in the show notes in case you guys want to have a look, have a watch, have a reminder. Okay, but listen, I need your help. So my DMs are open. Come September 1st, are you ready? What could this look like? How can we do this without being diety? Okay, without contributing to diet culture, but also moving the number on the scale to a direction, just like a little boost. Okay. I'm leaving that with you guys. DMs are open. I'm waiting. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. I'm sorry about last week. Hopefully, this actually saves to my computer. Have an amazing weekend. And then next time, oh, wait, I will be in Brampton. I'm going to have to record a podcast ahead of time. All right. Bye, guys. Have an amazing weekend.